Hi, Scorpio Sun and Rising. Welcome to your February 2023 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So we got a lot of fixed energy up in here in the month of February. And what that means for you is that you have some planets squaring off to you. And, sometimes people think, oh my gosh, that means I'm going to have a lot of challenges. What it means is that there are going to be things that are asked of you, but it can still be something that is very fruitful. For instance, okay, well, first of all, the sun is in Aquarius as the month begins, and Aquarius for you is the fourth house of home and family. So having the sun, which is a positive life force, in the fourth house is not bad, even though it squares you off. It can make your focus about the domestic side of life. And at the time of, the beginning, well, I was going to say at the time of the beginning of February, when February begins, there has already been a new moon in Aquarius that was actually in January. So you're seeing the results of that in some way. Now, some people may say, hey, nothing really seems to have changed. And that's totally possible. But for some people, they may get opportunities in this area of home because the fourth house can be real estate. And some people may, move or have some kind of prospects for moving at some point. Remember that Saturn is also transiting through this house, and Saturn can be helpful in laying down roots. So for the last few years, some Scorpio people likely had their first mortgage, bought their first property, were a lot more serious and grounded about their home base. You know how sometimes people are moving a lot? I don't think the average Scorpio person really likes to move a lot because you are a fixed sign, but sometimes it just works out that way. Well, this is a time when you may have felt more compelled to kind of stay in one place, or the universe forced that on you. And this is the last month that you will have Saturn fully in this area. Now, of course, this is a general forecast, so mileage may vary from Scorpio to Scorpio, but just in general. And then in March, you have Saturn going into a fellow water sign. So in the meantime, this is a time for forward movement. All the planets are direct until the third week in April. So take advantage of that if you have any kind of projects to bring out. If you do want to move, if you do want to do these things, you're going to be supported by the universe. On the 5th of the month, we have a full moon at 16 degrees of Leo. Leo is the opposite sign of Aquarius. So it is opposing, a time of the full moon, the sun opposes the moon. So you have an opposition between the 4th and the 10th houses. Now, what can happen is that in the 10th house, to have a full moon could mean a promotion, some kind of recognition career-wise. And that can kind of put a little bit of tension there because you may feel like you have to tend to home matters because the sun is in the 4th, and yet you have this situation arising that could be a great opportunity, and it's in your 10th house. So you're going to have to balance your home life and your career. And for some people, depending on circumstances in life, you may be leaving a profession. Maybe you're done with it. Maybe you've done all that you can do. And this will be a good thing. This isn't like, oh gosh, I have to leave. You're making that choice and you want to move on. On the 11th, Mercury goes into Aquarius. So again, we have another hit to that fourth house of home and family. And so this is, with Mercury, there could be contracts. So definitely seems like some of you may be actually negotiating, signing some kind of contract that is connected to real estate. The fourth house can be the mother. Some people say the father. So you may be communicating more with one of your parents. And maybe you're negotiating with them about something. For instance, perhaps the family home is something that is coming into some kind of need for attention. And if you're helping your family, that's another thing. Maybe you have been taking care of your parents since Saturn has been in your fourth house. And now you're ready to do something about it. I mean, if they are trying to sell their house and you're helping them or what have you. On the 18th, the sun goes into Pisces. So Pisces is a fellow water sign, and that forms a trine with Scorpio, either your sun sign or your ascendant. So that is a very cooperative energy. And this is going to be the fifth house of love and creativity. The sun rules the fifth house, so it's in its own element. And what that can mean is that the universe supports you for anything that involves love, including like dating someone, or if you have creative projects that you are trying to get off the ground. This is a great time for this. Neptune is currently in that fifth house. So it's very possible that some Scorpio people have been dealing with confusion when it comes to love, where perhaps you have been kissing a lot of frogs, so to speak, and you thought that they were princes, but they turned out to be toads. But I don't know. It's just that there can be a deceptive energy sometimes with Neptune, and people are not who they say they are. On the other hand, sometimes it can be very soulful connections that you make when you have Neptune in the fifth house. Now, the sun is not in conjunction with Neptune here, but it is in the same area. So that's why I'm bringing it up, because some of those themes may be still, the influence from Neptune is still present and will be for years to come, because Neptune is not leaving Pisces for a few years. And on the 20th, we have a new moon at 1 degree of Pisces. So this area is now starting to get triggered. And Venus goes into Aries on the same day, which means that Venus was in Pisces too. So as the month of February began, you had Venus in that fifth house. And so that is very romantic. So while we had Valentine's Day, you had Venus in the fifth house, and now you have a new moon here. So you might have been crushing on someone, and now maybe you are starting to date them. And Venus going into the sixth house means that this could be good for money at work. So Venus, wherever Venus is, can be about money. The sixth house can be the workplace. So it could be love in the workplace. I know a lot of places frown on that, but it is what it is. Some people do it anyway. So this might be the person that you are crushing on somebody at work, and you might start a romance with them. There's, I was thinking about that saying, don't crap where you eat. That might be kind of the same, the advice about, having love affairs at work, but I don't give advice, so I just thought that just came into my mind. That's all. And another thing. So this is good for, if anyone who is doing salary negotiation, this can yield a higher pay and just harmony in the workplace as well. Maybe your office is getting spruced up, gussied up for some reason. They're doing a renovation, or actually it'd be more like a paint job or something like that. But anyway, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading with me, I am promoting my double readings because they are the best value. It's a package deal. You get 1 hour of natal chart interpretation, 1 hour of transits for the upcoming 12 months. That's called my deep dive, and it's at a special price compared to if you buy those readings separately, which, some people do because they want one thing versus the other. So, But anyway, I also have another package deal that involves the tarot and a chart reading as well, called the whole enchilada. And I got that, I'm very anal about being original when I'm, being creative and coming up with names for things. But I realized, when I said the whole enchilada, that was something that the late Wayne Dyer, that a lot of you know who that is, when I would watch PBS specials, and this, I don't know if this was across the country or just in Chicago, I imagine it was across the country. I'm sure a lot of you remember when he would do those, whatever you call them, lectures, and then people would, it was like a pledge drive, and he had something called the whole enchilada, where all of his, CDs or whatever were in one package. So I guess I copied off of him. But I just like that title. And so I have other types of readings too. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great month. Bye.